everyone, and welcome to our Touchbase Thursday for January 28th. I'm excited to be going live with all of you and sharing some more awesome projects with you. I'm just going to give this a minute for all of you to find me live, and then we will go ahead and get started here in just a couple of minutes. So if you're joining me, please comment, tell me hello, and again, and give this a couple of minutes. Yeah, good Nat. For those of you to find me here, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. As my computer is trying to reload. Let's see here. I see I got some comments coming in. Technology sometimes, I tell you. When it works, it's great, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. So, but I can see that I am live with all of you. So I may have to restart my Facebook. So anyway, while I'm restarting my Facebook, hi everyone and welcome to our Touchbase Thursday. And I am going to be starting here in just a couple of moments. And I may not be able to see comments tonight. I'm not sure. My computer's being kind of silly. So if I'm not able to see comments, I promise you I'll answer them as I am able to see them. My computer keeps crashing every time I try to look at comments. So anyway, tonight I'm going to be sharing all kinds of awesome things with you with our Saleabration products. And so I kind of chose to focus on 2 or 3 stamp sets, and then I ended up incorporating some of the designer series paper. So, oh, there, now I can see, yay, okay, I can see comments coming in finally. So hi to Luann and Shireen and Penny and Donna, Beth, welcome. Okay, now I feel better. Woo, I hate that when I can't see comments coming in. And to Rhonda, hello. So anyway, we had a crazy night tonight. I was wondering if I'd be coming on late, but my son and his wife had an appointment with their accountant as he's starting up a new business endeavor and actually getting his LLC and all of his stuff to be a legal company and get insurance. So they had appointments. I'm not sure if I shared what he does. So he works full-time. My son, Matt, works full-time for a dealership here in town, and he does detailing, and he has been doing it on the side out of his home in the summer for the last 4 years, and he finally found some space that he can use to be able to do that in the winter, and so he's getting all that squared away. So I have Chloe here, so you may hear a baby upstairs, but I have Chloe here right now, and then Thursday night Claire goes back and forth for dance, and my husband was running late, and anyway, long story short, I'm here. Natalie has Chloe. My husband Matt took Claire to dance, so I think we're good. But it has been a crazy past hour for us. But anyway, so that's a little bit in the way of announcements that I have with my son Matt. So really excited for him. He's been wanting to do this for a while. I know it's his goal eventually to completely go out on his own. He's a little ways away from that, but I think he's on a good path to get there fairly soon if all goes well. And then another little update that I have with Natalie, poor girl. So she's on the varsity dance team, and the dance team is supposed to be dancing at our boys' basketball games, but they keep delaying the contact sports for the winter because they're all indoor sports. And so her season might actually get canceled, which she's kind of bummed because they've been working so hard for the last, for the last like 4 or 5 months with their dances and stuff. So I told her, all she can do is give it her all and keep trying. But that will be kind of devastating for her and all the girls that have worked so hard to learn those dances and stuff. So just a tough year, as you guys all know. Hi to Debbie. I see Debbie and Susie and Paula. Hi, ladies. But I'm not going to talk too long because I created 6 cards to share with you tonight. We may or may not get through all 6, but I just kept creating. And so I'm going to make sure that you guys see them all at least. But I did focus on some of the Saleabration sets, some of the Saleabration product. And so I want to make sure we have lots of time to be able to do that. My ordering promotion, again, anybody who puts in a minimum $30 order, you will receive 3 of the cards that I'm showcasing tonight for free in the mail, already completed cards. Or you can use the cards as samples to be able to duplicate them on your own. You'll have an actual hands-on hard copy in your hand to be able to look at and be able to play with. And I actually posted one of the cards on the one of my fancy fold cards earlier today, so I'm sure some of you may have seen that. And my February classes will be posting soon. My January classes, I am sold out of the strawberry cards. Those of you, though, that are part of my club, you got your cards coming. All card kits for club went out today, actually. They got all packaged up last night. They went out today. And I do have a couple kits left over of the, looking at my table over there, the Fine Art Floral, and I think I've got 2 of those left, and I have 3 of the Valentine's Day card kits left. So if anyone's interested in a card kit that you haven't had a chance to sign up for yet, let me know. But the strawberry cards have sold out. Club members, if you picked the strawberries, you're getting them, but they're sold out above and beyond that. It was a popular class, which is kind of cool. So anyway, February classes that you'll be seeing, I'm doing a stamps or a class using the hydrangea, and I'll be doing a Zoom class. So this coming Saturday is my first Zoom class. I think I have 7 ladies taking that Zoom class, so we'll be stamping together and having some fun. And in February, I will be doing a hydrangea class. So if you are interested in that, make sure you look for the details of that to come out soon. I'll be posting registration. Now, if you are interested in the class but not able to do the Zoom date, I also follow up with either pictures of the cards or a quick little PDF tutorial that you'll be able to follow along and make the cards on your own at home. And then I can also send you the recording of the Zoom that you can put them together later. So there's lots of options with those classes. And then card club members and other classes that I'll be offering include a donkey. I'm going to do donkey cards. I think I'm trying to remember what the other ones are. The donkey, there's oh my gosh, I can't remember now, but there's 3 of them, 3 additional classes. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention to all of you is most of you know I do an annual event. It's my cystic fibrosis fundraiser. This will be my 8th year, and usually it's a creative escape fun weekend on March 5th and 6th, and it's always been an in-person event, and I'm still doing an in-person component of it. I'm just limiting it to a certain number of attendees. Last year I think we had 60 there. I'm limiting it, cutting it in half almost. So if you're interested in attending that, any of you that are local, your spot is only held by registration and deposits being made, because that's how I have to do it. I know I'm probably going to fill up, and I apologize if any of you are not able to make it, but with my space and limits and social distancing and everything else, I need to keep it a safe event. However, I'm also offering, so how that fundraiser works is it's a day or a weekend where you come and you bring all your supplies, you work on them, you have fun. It's kind of like a crafting weekend. And then I also offer optional classes. I have 2 optional classes that are card classes, a masculine card class, and then I'm doing a In Blooms card class, and then I'm also doing a 6x8 hydrangea scrapbook album, a little mini scrapbook album. Now there is an online retreat option for anybody who's interested in purchasing the retreat online. A little history about cystic fibrosis and its importance to me. One of my really good friends that I met through church years ago, her son passed away of cystic fibrosis. I want to say about 7 years ago. I think it was a year, maybe it was not. It was right before we started doing our events, so about 8 years ago. He was waiting for a lung transplant, and so her and I kind of paired together. She does a lot of the work in the kitchen. I'm with my husband, a couple other people that help us out, and we've been doing this for about 8 years now, and I forget the total that we've raised, but it's a pretty good amount of money that we have given to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So if you're interested in the online portion of that, I would love to have you sign up for it, because I still want to try to raise the same amount of money we do every year, but of course my in-person event is looking completely different because of COVID. So if you're interested in helping an amazing cause and one of my biggest fundraisers that I do, I'd love to have you sign up for that online option. Okay, so with that is really all I have in the way of the announcements. I will tell you that our join promotion is still going on. So I know I've talked about it a couple times. You can get, and again, I'm looking at my paper over there, you can get 5 free packs of Designer Series paper. It's like a $58 value for free by just purchasing the starter kit. And you know, by purchasing it, it's a risk-free kit. You do not have to do anything like I do. You can be a happy shopper and buy your own Stampin' Up! Supplies, or you can just buy the kit and decide you don't want to do anything further. But for $99 plus tax, so whatever your tax rate is here in Michigan, it comes to $104.94. You get $125 of Stampin' Up! Product of your choice, that 5 free packs of the Designer Series paper, which is like a $58 value. You get a free paper pumpkin inside of there. And you also get, I'm trying to think what else you get. You get, yeah, but I mean, it's a great deal. Who wouldn't want it, right? And I have a goal. I have a goal of how many people I want to take advantage of that, and I'm not quite on track for that. So if you're interested in it, please help me out. I'm very goal oriented and love to reach those goals. Okay, so with that, I am going to, yeah, thank you, Kay. So yes, have Frances. She needs to go out and come back in, and I think she'll be able to see me okay. So with that, I'm going to transition my camera down to my stamp area. We're going to talk all things Saleabration. You're going to see some awesome products that I've used tonight, and that you can get for free with a qualifying $50 order. So again, if you're interested in doing that minimum $30 order tonight, you could take it up to a $50 order and get one of these free stamp sets, and then get 3 free cards from me as well. So with that, I'm going to transition my camera down and let you guys see what we're going to create tonight. Okay. So you're going to start off by seeing a little sneak peek. And now normally when I do my Facebook Lives, you guys know that I normally focus in on like a specific suite or a specific product bundle. Tonight it is a hodgepodge of all kinds of things. So with that being said, my table is a mess. Oh, and I didn't do the sharing. So let me do the sharing before we get started. So those of you that are new to my Facebook Lives, if you share my video, you get in the drawing to receive freebies. And so we have tonight for sharing last week the woven sequins, and the winner of the woven sequins is Rhonda Cermak. So congratulations to Rhonda. Rhonda, I'll get those in the mail to you, and I know that I have your address, so we're good there. And then the winner of the matte black dots is Sabina Miller. So congratulations to Sabina and to Rhonda. And then I'll show you what are up for grabs this week. And because I think I overbought these black dots. So I'm giving away another pack of black dots. But you have the black dots and the basic pearls. So all you got to do is on below where my video is, you click the share button. You share this on your personal profile or on a page that you know that other people might like to watch me, and you get in the drawing to receive free goodies, and I give 2 away every single week. Okay, so with that, let me pull up my sleeves and let's get started. So you guys are seeing a little bit of a sneak peek, and like I said, bear with me, because if you could see how many ink pads and things I have out here tonight, you would think I'm crazy. But it's because I'm showcasing so many different Saleabration things. So let me show you what I'm going to be showcasing tonight. I'm going to be showcasing the Corner Bouquet. Now this Corner Bouquet stamp set you can get for free with a $50 qualifying order. I'm also going to be showcasing the Heal Your Heart, another one that you can get with a $50 qualifying order. And then I'm going to be showcasing a Touch of Ink. Now a Touch of Ink is one that you would need to put in a $100 order to get, but the stamp set is huge. I mean, it's 2 sheets of stamps. You can see all of mine are out and on blocks and ready to design and create. So those are the 3 stamp sets that I'm really going to be working with tonight. And then I also chose to work with some Designer Series paper that is also in the Saleabration flyer. So I'm going to be working a little bit with the Oso Ombre. You're going to see me design a card with that. That's really, really pretty. I really, really like that. And then you're going to see me also design with, this is probably my favorite paper that is in the Saleabration offering, the Flower and Field Designer Series paper, these pretty patterns up here right there. So that's a little bit of a synopsis of what you're going to be seeing me make. And let's get started with, let me see. Let's get started with the Heal Your Heart, I think. Actually, I'm going to see what's on top with all my card supplies. Okay, we actually are not going to get started with that. I'm going to get started with a touch of ink, okay? Touch of ink. I do need to bring in a mat so that I can stamp on top of it because I'm going to need a little bit of cushion. And I meant to get a white piece of this designer series paper so it wouldn't be quite so distracting. But I hope it's okay that you're seeing all the bright new in colors here. And so the first card that we are going to be focusing on tonight is this one right here. Now what I like about the Touch of Ink stamp set is that you have, it's the two-step stamping. So you have it where you can stamp the outline of the butterfly and the outline of the leaves, and then you can do the solid in the inside. So you have, as you can see right here, both of them, that you can do all of the stamping. So you don't have to color this. And I like that it kind of makes it look like it's watercolored when it's actually just stamped. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this, and we are going to stamp on this first, okay? So I'm going to be bringing in my Early Espresso ink. I used Early Espresso for all of the outlines of my, my stuff. So I'm going to ink up, and I think I may have needed to put a little bit more ink in my Early Espresso, but we're going to make it work. Let me make sure I'm in the center here. And I am just going to stamp this down like that. And then I'm going to take the outline of the butterfly and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Hi Frances, I hope you're able to see me. So I got to tell everybody the little story of my sweet Frances. So Frances found me on YouTube when I just started doing YouTube videos, probably, oh gosh, it's been probably 6 or 7 years ago. And she has been a loyal customer of mine ever since. And she just recently came on Facebook. And this is, I think, her first time trying to watch me live. Usually she watches my YouTube recordings. So I'm so excited to see her there, and I'm hoping that she's able to see me. But I'm telling you, the joy of what we do, how it spreads by doing things with social media is just awesome. Oh, thank you. Yes, I do have little hearts on my nails. Isn't that cool? Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my terracotta tile. This is the color that I used for the inside of the butterfly. So a hi to a few additional people. I see Joyce from Holland, Michigan. Welcome, Joyce. Good to have you here. So I'm just going to be taking off the solid one on my stamping block and put on the solid. So that one, sorry, I took off the outline and I'm going to put on the solid. So this is the terracotta tile, and this, I call it a blob, but it's going to fit on top of this butterfly perfectly to color that in. Isn't that just awesome? And then the same thing with the leaves. Again, they look like blobs, but they're not. And I'm going to bring in my Shaded Spruce ink. And now Shaded Spruce is a pretty, it's a pretty color that can be very, like if I was to stamp this straight on, it could be very overbearing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stamp off a little bit to get a little bit of the ink off. And then this is going to line right up, and I'm going to stamp this on to stamp in my leaves. Ta-da! Doesn't that look awesome? Just love it. Okay, so that is the stamping, and like I said, I'm going to be making a mess with all of these inks that I have out tonight. So please bear with me and be patient. I then have a piece of the terracotta tile cardstock. Now what I chose to do on this is I wanted it to look a little bit country, a little bit rustic. So what I did is I tore the edges. Can you see how I just tore them? And that's kind of a neat little technique where you just tear towards you. I'm hoping I don't tear off too much, but by tearing it towards you, it gives you a really good little edge right here and just makes it look a little bit rustic. So I'm just going to tear off an edge here, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And I want to make sure though that I'm not tearing off too much. Okay, I'm going to leave that on and take a little bit less off. So I'm just, again, tearing towards me to get a little bit of a look there. Yeah, so like I said, the secret here is tearing towards you, okay? And then I'm just going to adhere this onto this piece of cardstock, okay, using some of our Stamp and Seal. So So I'm just going to adhere this down to the center. And so this, I mean, you can see I literally just, I cut it the same on the side, but then these I just ripped. So it's going to look different each time you rip it. And then I used some of our baker's twine. So let me find the baker's twine. Bring that in here. And I'm going to show you how I wrapped the baker's twine around my card. So let me find my opening here. There we go. So if you ever have trouble, and I know I've shared this tip before, but I like to always share it. If you ever have trouble with this twine kind of rolling up because it's, or being all kinky because it's been rolled up, I find that if you unroll it and then you just run your finger across it, a lot of times it takes out some of that. Can you see it's taking out some of that curl to it? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive down here in the bottom. You're going to see how I do a quick cheating method when it comes to doing my bows. And again, if you've watched me for a while, this will be nothing new that you haven't seen before, but it's just what works for me. I am a lefty, and so sometimes lefties struggle with things. And one of the things that I struggle with sometimes is doing bows. So I have learned to adjust my technique of how I design and what I do by coming up with little cheating methods and cheating ways that I can make things work for me. So what I did is I just went around that twice, and then I'm going to make a bow, and then I just adhere this bow with a glue dot. So that way I'm not having to actually try to tie that on there and make it look pretty, because it's not going to look pretty. I can't do that. So, and no one's going to really be able to tell the difference that I didn't go all the way around. So I'm going to bring in the glue dots, and I'm going to adhere one right down there. So there you can see my bow looks kind of similar, right? And then in advance, I used the double oval punch. Now, if you don't have this punch, it's in our the January through June catalog. You need to get it. It's a punch that punches out both of these. So I used, thank you so much. Now this, my sentiments came from, I want to say it is from one of the stamp sets in the catalog as well, the January through June catalog. And I just can't, I just don't remember which one it is off the top of my head. I had it in my head last night, now I'm forgetting about it. But anyway, I stamped it in advance to save a little bit of time. So you could use any stamp set. This was not part of the same stamp set that I used to create everything else. But look how awesome those two pieces layered together. And then we're going to put them on with a couple of dimensionals. And then we're going to adhere this whole piece down to crumb cake base, like that. And I'm going to just adhere this down. And there you have our first card created using the touch of ink. But this card, what I like about this stamp set is that you could make this card into a sympathy, a birthday, a get well, a thinking of you. This could really be a very versatile card for so many different occasions. And it's very quick and simple and easy to stamp. You can see how quick and easy it was. So yeah, that is our first card. Now the one thing I don't have here that I'm going to need to run and get is a cleaning cloth to be able to clean my stamps. So bear with me real quick. Do need one of those. So when I start to get ready for my Facebook Lives, I end up taking stuff from my table and then using it for my designing, and then I forget to put things back. So that's what happened here. But I do need to clean my stamps because we're going to be using some of them over again for our second card. And I'm going to stick with the same, I'm going to stick with the same stamp set and show you another card that I created using that awesome touch of ink stamp set. Okay, isn't that one pretty? So yes, I gravitated to the pink. I'm sorry. But this one is the Blushing Bride. And so I'm just going to fold this in half. This will be the base of my card. Again, it's 5.5 by 8.5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some of the outlines. So for this, I used Rococo Rose and I used Blushing Bride. So let me bring those in. So I used Blushing Bride to stamp the solid, and then I used Rococo Rose to stamp on top of it with the more solid, or with the outline. So this card, I totally used a little outside of the box. The leaves aren't, I used it more for a background than making it actually look like leaves. So I am going to start with I like to start with the solid. Again, it's personal preference. Thank you, Philomena. I do too. The hummingbird is so pretty. So I'm going to start with the solid, and I'm going to just kind of stamp wherever I want on this card. Again, no rhyme or reason. It might even look different than my sample because I'm just kind of stamping. Although I see that I am kind of gravitating to how my sample looks. All right, and then I'm going to bring in my Blushing Bride, and we are going to find, like I said, I've got tons of stamps here. Here we go. And I cleaned it. Woohoo! Okay, so now we're going to use the Blushing Bride, and all I'm going to do is line this up and stamp on top of these to give it the little bit of a look like it, they're colored in without having to do any coloring whatsoever. Love it. I didn't know if I would like the stamp set, and it wasn't one of my favorites when I started looking at the Saleabration brochure. And then you start playing with things and you say, oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, the oval punch is on page 65. I don't have a occasions catalog here. I just grabbed the small one because I knew that my table would be a complete mess by the time I was done. I then used a piece of the So Ombre paper, and you're going to see this paper in a bigger piece in a little bit here. But this paper is so awesome. So it's ombre look, where you have the different colors from light to dark, and then on the opposite side you have, so the four colors I think are Blackberry Bliss, Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, no, not Coastal Cabana, I'm trying to think here, Bermuda Bay, Rococo Rose, Bermuda Bay, and then the Blackberry Bliss. So those are really nice strips, and I just kind of put a little one down here on the bottom just to add a little bit. So hi to see who else we have here. Let's see, I'm gonna put that there. Okay, and then from there I am going to go ahead and show you what stamping I did on this right here. So this is just one of our stitched rectangles, and I'm going to do some stamping on that with the hummingbird. And then I did also include a little bit of the stamping down there as well. So for the hummingbird, I used the Pretty Peacock and the Coastal Cabana. So we're going to start with the Pretty Peacock, because the Pretty Peacock is going to be my outline of my card. So let me make sure I get that inked up really good. And I'm going to stamp this on my card. And then I used Coastal Cabana to be able to stamp in the solid part. So let me bring in the solid part. And usually I put them back to back, but when I go to stamp, I don't like to, here we go, right on top, voila, okay. And then the flower is a different stamp from the stamp set. So it is the stamp down here on the bottom. So yeah, I used everything from the stamp. So can you guys see why it's kind of crazy with all of this, the ink and things that I have here? And then again, I'm bringing in Rococo Rose. I'm going to stamp here on the bottom with that. And then I'm going to bring in my Blushing Bride again. I'm moving all my inks out of the way. and using the solid one, and just going to line this up and stamp. Ta-da! And now from there, you could put anything that you would like on this card. You could have it say, hello friend. You could have it say, actually, I think some of the sentiments that I used on here are actually from the stamp set. So I was wrong. I did use the thanks so much is from the Touch of Ink. Oops, I was wrong. Okay, and then I'm just going to use basic black. On my sample, I used gray, but I did not grab my gray ink pad. Oops, I actually forgot to grab an ink pad. And so I'm going to stamp this one with the, let's see here, there it is, hello friend, and just going to stamp it to make sure it stamps okay, it looks all right, up here on the top, hello friends, and then I'm going to adhere that down to my card with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just going to put dimensionals in the 4 corners of this. And there you have 2 cards that I created using that awesome Touch of Ink stamp set. And what I liked about this one is it doesn't use hardly any cardstock. And look at how pretty it is with just having some stamping on there. Isn't that gorgeous? So yeah, so there is card number 2 using that. So I believe that we are done with that stamp set. So just bear with me for a minute while I move out of the way some of the stamps for that to make room for other things that we're going to be doing. So let me see what I have next. Oh, next, how about we work with the Heal Your Heart? What do you guys think? So this is the Heal Your Heart. Again, another card or another stamp set that you can get for free with a $50 qualifying order, okay? And I like this one too. It's perfect for sympathy, thank you, we're in this together. That's such a nice sentiment. And I really like the one I have here on the inside of this card I'm going to show you. It says, I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. Isn't that an awesome one? Okay, so this is my fancy fold card that I am going to show you guys. Look at this fancy fold. And so this is using the Bermuda Bay, and I paired it with Coastal Cabana, and then it opens up, and then inside is some of that ombre paper. And so I'm going to show you guys how to make this card. And this one I will post the measurements as well. I have them written down, so I will mention them during my Facebook Live, but I will also post them for you so that you will have them to be able to duplicate this card, okay? So you're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is cut 5.5 by 6.5. And then you're going to score this. I believe this is scored at 2. And I'm going to fold that. So that becomes kind of like my card base right here, okay? On the outside here, you're going to put a piece of Designer Series paper. And again, I chose to use the Oh So Ombre. And this one I used, again, you can see the different patterns because this one on my sample I used more of the light one. This one I used more of the dark. And so I'm going to adhere this down to my card. Just like this. And then on the inside of my card, I adhered down a piece of that ombre paper. Again, you can see how pretty that paper is. Now, before I adhered this down, I'm going to do some stamping. So we're going to stamp that little sentiment that says, I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. I know I put that on a stamp, so I thought, yep, here we go. Maybe I didn't. Let's see. Oops, I didn't, so bear with me here. Get them on a block. It'll only take me a second here. And I want to make sure that I get it on the block nice and straight. All right, so I'm just going to stamp that in the middle here. Just like that. And then before I adhere this piece down to my card, I have another little piece that I cut and scored. This is cut 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I scored it at 1 1/4. And all I'm going to do is adhere this down, this flap down to my card, so that this will be open like this. Okay. So I'm going to put some adhesive down on this part right here, and I'm going to kind of center this the best I can, and I am just going to adhere that down so that this flap will fold over. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere this down into the inside, okay? So you could do that if you chose this awesome designer series paper. You could make these cards in so many different colors. I mean, you really, really could. So far so good, right? You guys can kind of follow that. Now I'm going to put some ribbon on this little tab. And so for that little ribbon, I chose to use some of the Coastal Cabana ribbon. This is from our annual catalog. And this one I did go all the way around and tie it. So we're going to attempt it because, as you know, I don't do the greatest with bows. And I think it was my sister who was here when I created this card, and she tied the bow for me. But we're going to give it a shot. Again, when you're a lefty, you don't make the best bows at all. At least I don't. I do cheater ones. Cheater ones work better for me. There we go. Kind of, sort of. You get the gist of it. So you put a bow on there. And then you're going to have these two pieces right here. These are the layering squares. And all I'm going to do is stamp "We're in this together" on this outer one right here using basic black ink. So let me see. I'm not sure if I... oh, I did put that one on. Okay. I only forgot the inside. Well, maybe I didn't. I did not put that on a block. I must have totally skipped right past this card. Okay, and I definitely wanted to show you guys this card because it's one of the most awesome cards with all the fancy folds and stuff. All right, so let me get this on here. We're in this together. And I'm just going to stamp that right here in the middle. And then these two are going to get adhered together like that. And then this, I'm just going to add some adhesive right to the end of this, because this is just going to get adhered down to the center of this. Again, my bow isn't that pretty, but you get the gist of it. And there you have a cute fancy fold card. Now I could have also done my little cheating method if I wanted to. So maybe I will show you guys how I do a cheating method with this. Because it does, I cheat. And I think that people who struggle with bows would probably use ribbon more if they knew different cheating techniques. So I am going to take the time to show you how I would do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive in the middle. And I'm going to, this is way too much ribbon, so I'm just going to put a little bit there, and then I'm going to bring this tight, and I'm going to bring this over. So because of the fact that this has to go all the way around, you don't want to have it where, like usually when I do it, you don't see the back side, but you do on this one. So yes, you can see that it is piecemeal together. But then from there, you can make your bow. Let me get a little bit of a bigger piece of ribbon. And then glue dot your bow on. So that is how I would have done this card if I was making them in duplication. But I wanted to show you guys how really awful my bow making skills can be. But doing them this way works so much better for me. And so I'm just going to make a bow like that. And then I'm going to snip off these tails. So if you are, feeling, I can't do the whole wraparound tie a bow, you don't have to. Now we're going to glue that onto that with some glue dots, and then you have a better alternative and a better looking bow. So anyway, hope you guys like that little cheating technique because it works and no one's going to see that. Okay. Yay, right? Okay, so there is card number, gosh, is that 3 already? What time do we have? Okay, I'm doing pretty good with time. All right, I'm going to do the other card that I created with this stamp set. And it's a real simple one, and this is using that designer series paper that I told you I loved. This is the Flower and Fields designer paper. And this card is so simple, it will literally take us like 2 minutes to put it together. So I started with a piece of the Bumblebee cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5. And then I have a basic black mat that is 5 1/4 by 4, followed by a designer series paper that is 5 by 3 3/4. And then these two just get adhered together. And then I adhered this down to my card. Now, my point for this card being so simple is the fact that this paper is that gorgeous. So you don't need to do a lot to these cards when the paper does so much work for you. And that right there alone, does that not scream spring? It just does. Okay, then I went back to the annual catalog. I have to cover up my black ink before I have a mess. Okay, went back to the annual catalog to find some petal pink ribbon, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive right down to the middle, and I'm going to cut a piece of this ribbon. I'm going to cut the tails at an angle, and then all I did was fold it in half like this and adhere it down to my card, like that. And then this is one of the labels that is from the Tasteful Labels dies, and I stamped "Wishing I Could Heal Your Heart" on there, again using the black ink, and this is also part of that Heal Your Heart stamp set. So "Wishing I Could Heal Your Heart" is going to get stamped on there. And then this went on, whoops, everything just spilled. Okay, and then this went on with some dimensionals onto my card. So I'm just going to turn it over, put a few dimensionals on here, and I'll do 4. I probably could have gotten by with less, but we'll do 4. And then I'm just going to adhere this onto my card. And then I topped it with one of those black matte dots. Now, I didn't bring any here to my table, but those are the dots that I'm giving away if you share my video, so make sure you share my video. Any of you that joined me late, what I do is every week if you share my video, you get in the drawing for a couple of freebie things that I give away. So anyway, but there is that quick and simple card. Okay, so that takes us to our final stamp set for tonight, which is the Corner Bouquet stamp set. And I'm going to keep the messy one for last because we're going to be doing some heat embossing. And so I'm going to show you my, what I call my easier one first. So I had a few customers say to me, what would you do with this stamp set? There's no greetings, there's no sentiments. And that was kind of, this is a stamp set that actually kind of gave me the inspiration to do a Saleabration Facebook Live with you all tonight. Because I wanted to show you things that you can do with this stamp set. So I created this card right here, again, quick, simple, easy, using that ombre paper. Again, you could use that ombre paper in so many different colors, but I stuck with the Bermuda Bay on this one because I figured I've been doing so much pink that I needed to do something different for all of you. Carol Grove, not sure if she's watching, she's one of my customers who loves purple, so the last card that I did for purple, just for her. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and make this card, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this. But this is where this paper would be a great selection for you to be able to make cards that are very simple like this. So I have a piece of my Whisper White cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, and that is the base of my card. And then I have a piece of the basic black cardstock cut 5 by 3 3/4. And then I used the stitched rectangles. I'm not sure if you can see the stitching around the outer edge of this piece. It is one of the bigger ones that I used, and that's what I stamped on and then layered it right in there. And we're just going to stamp with some black ink. That is all we did. So let me bring my black ink in, and this is the Corner Bouquet stamp. And I inked, again, when you're doing a card like this where it's like a silhouette, I call it a silhouette card because it's just kind of like black, all in black on color. You want to make sure you have your ink pad, your black ink pad or your dark ink pad inked up really good to give you that really good stamped image. So I did add some more ink to this just so that I would have a really good inked image on this. And I find that if you push and hold this down a little bit and kind of really push it good, you're going to get a better image as well. Okay. Then I was trying to find a stamp that I thought would look nice on here to fill up this spot really good. And I went back to the annual catalog. Again, I feel like our annual catalog gets so lost once our other catalogs come out. I went to a Wild Rose and used the word blessed. And I'm going to stamp that using the black ink. And I just stamped that right along the top here. And I kind of did it off to the side since that's where most of my space was. So pretty, right? And then this is literally, again, like I said, I know I have 6 cards tonight, but they were some of these were so simple. Yes, doesn't it make that background really pretty? That is what I really like about this ombre. I think the ombre is perfect for cards where you're just stamping like that, because it just makes it look like you've sponged it and you didn't. So yeah, Janet, I like it too. And thank you, Luann. I'm glad that you like my cards. And then this is just going to get adhered onto my card base right in the center. And then I topped it off with one of our ladybugs. I just felt it needed a little ladybug. Have you seen these ladybug trinkets that are in our catalog? They are so cute. Look at my messy hands. Look how cute those are. So cute. So I'm just going to adhere that with a glue dot onto, and you could put a couple on there if you really wanted to. I'm just going to add one to it. So I'm just going and getting a glue dot, and then I'm going to stick my little ladybug right there. Not sure if you saw that in the sample, but right there it was. So, and there you have a really quick and simple card. Really quick and simple. And again, the paper is so pretty using it in this way. And even if you don't have those dies, you would just need to cut out a piece of that paper that layers. So you could have cut that out at the designs of the sizes of those are designed to be with the mats of the different cards. But again, the basic black was 5 by 3 3/4, and then the designer series paper would have been 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Again, everything goes down. So Nancy, the ombre paper is a Saleabration choice. So it's something that you can get for free during Saleabration. So let me just show you that in the flyer again, in case anybody has missed it. I don't have a full pack here to show you because I've used so much of it. But right here it is, right up here in this top part. And you can see all the different colors that you get. So it's Bermuda Bay. Oh, I was wrong. So Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Granny Apple Green, and Rococo Rose. And so one side of it is the ombre. The other side is this really pretty circle polka dot type paper. So I love that paper. Okay. So let's go to our final card for tonight. And this one I love. So we are going to actually be doing some heat embossing. Look at this. Is that not gorgeous? Thank you, Kay. I'm glad that you liked my cards. All right. So for this one, I used Whisper White as the card base. So I'm just going to fold that. And then I used Gorgeous Grape for my mat, 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have another piece of Whisper White cardstock that is cut 5 by 3 3/4. We are going to work on this, and I'm going to move this card up to the corner so you guys can still see that. And I need to clean my stamps because I need to use the same one over again. So let me get it cleaned off good because I have it in black. I'm not going to want black on my card. Okay, so what I did, now we no longer sell these embossing buddies, but these are what we used to sell, and you can rub off the any static on your cardstock. Now the other thing that you could use, I would try just like a regular paper towel or something. I will tell you that I don't have a lot of issues not using them. But because I'm doing a video, I want my image to look halfway decent, so I didn't want to not use it. And then I'm going to use our Versamark ink. This is what our Versamark ink looks like, and it's just a watermark stamp pad. And I'm going to ink up the same stamp that I used on my previous card, and I'm just going to stamp it here in the bottom corner. And all it's going to do, you're not even going to see it, but it put a watermark or a sticky image of that on my card. And then I'm going to bring in my tray here. And this is just white embossing powder. And I'm going to put the white embossing powder all over on this. And you want to kind of hold it at an angle and look to make sure you have it on the entire thing. You can kind of tell by moving it around. Because if you don't, then you're not going to have it completely covered. Okay, so I think I may have to add a little bit more there. All right, so there we go. And then I'm going to bring in my heat tool and we're going to heat this up so it's going to get a little noisy. And you will see this turn from that matte finish to a like a shiny finish. And this is called heat embossing for anybody who might be new to this. Nancy, that's what happens a lot of times. You don't think you need something until you see it used. I was that way with that Touch of Ink stamp set. I didn't think I needed it, but it's so pretty. I think that's a problem a lot of us have with our Stampin' Up! Stuff, is we don't think we need something until you see it. Then you're like, oh my goodness, I gotta have it. Okay, so let's see here. I think I'm almost done with this. Yes, Janie. Janie is doing my Zoom class this Saturday. So Janie will be seeing me on Saturday. I'm so excited for that. Okay, I'm going to let this cool just a little bit before I do any of the blending. But this is kind of called like an Emboss Resist technique. So what you do, and I'm actually going to use, again, I need to clean up my mess because if I don't, oh my gosh, you guys, you should see this. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to be using our blending brush. These blending brushes, you get 3 to a pack for $12, and they're so soft. As my daughters say, they're satisfying. They're very soft, fine bristled brushes, and I'm going to be using that to be able to blend my color of ink on top of that. And why it is called the Emboss Resist is because the color will not stick to where you heat embossed that image. Now for that, I chose to use Highland Heather. It's a little bit, even though I used Gorgeous Grape for my card mat in the between, I chose to use the Highland Heather because it's a little bit less saturated of a color, and I didn't want to try to get, let me make sure you guys can see this good and I'm positioned well. I didn't want it to be too overbearing. So I'm just gonna go into my ink, and I'm just gonna kind of get some ink on that brush. Again, I like to kind of rub it off a little bit, and then I'm just going to be rubbing it onto my card. And I may have had to have re-inked this too. And just a really light touch is all you need. It helps if I use the right hand. Sometimes, as lefties, we don't know which hand is more comfortable when you're doing things. But what I like about these brushes is I feel like, and I know that I was talking with Shireen earlier, yeah, she already commented that these are good for wood and other things too. These brushes, I feel like you have more control over what you're doing and with your sponging technique. Sometimes I feel like our sponges and our sponge daubers leave things a little too saturated, or you get maybe darker spots in your card. And with this, I feel like you just have more control than you do with your sponges. So yeah, I really, really like that. All right, and again, if you wanted more color, you could kind of keep going. You get the gist of it right there, right? And then these, I've been just washing these with soapy water. They do stain the brushes, but you can reuse them, and it works really, really, really well. Okay, so from there, I'm going to adhere this down to my card using some Stampin' Seal. And then I'm using some of our crinkled white ribbon, and I'm just going to go around the top part of this card, since that's kind of where I've got some leftover space, and doing the exact same, oh, where are my glue dots? Glue dots, where art thou? Here we go. I threw them all over the place. And so I'm going to put a glue dot on each end of this ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap it around the top here and bring it around. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, I'm really glad that you guys like the cards. Like I said, I always try to come up with different topics for my Facebook Lives on Thursdays to kind of give you ideas of how you can use different products. And I hadn't done anything with the Saleabration stuff yet. And we are about, halfway through Saleabration. So if there's things that are still on your list that you might want to get, don't delay. Get them sooner than later so you can start creating awesome things with them. And then I have, again, I used that double oval punch, and I punched out a piece using the Gorgeous Grape. And then I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape stamp here. And I'm going to make this one, because I don't think I brought my happy birthday over. I'm going to clean, I hear my baby behind me. Woohoo! I'm going to use the Hello Friend again and stamp that up and ink it onto my little oval. And then I'm going to adhere these two together And that will go on with some dimensionals. So simple and yet so pretty. And again, can you imagine all the different colors that you could do this card in? So when I pick my cards and things for my Facebook Lives, I really try to keep it practical and keep it things that you all can easily do with different products. You could use, again, different sentiments in there. And then this whole piece will get adhered down to my Whisper White card base. And it just, yeah, look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that super duper pretty? So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed my cards tonight and a little showcase of the different things you can do with some of our Saleabration products. I'm going to bring them all in. Now I'll be posting pictures of all of these cards later tonight so that you can download them, save them to your computer. I always say the best compliment anyone can ever give me is duplicating my cards and projects. So that is why I do these Facebook Lives, is to share. I view my demonstratorship with the company as a way of sharing what I do. And I always give the measurements and things. So for this fancy fold card, I'll be posting the measurements so that you can duplicate that card as well. But yeah, these were all of the cards we made tonight. We made it through 6 of them in my hour allotted time. Go me. Woo! I did it. Anyway, thank you guys all so very much. Again, remember my ordering promotion. If anybody puts in a minimum $30 order, however, you probably want to take it to $50 to get a free Saleabration item. You can choose from one of the items that I showcased tonight. You will receive 3 of these cards in the mail, and if you have ones of your favorites, you could tell me and I could get those ready for you. But I do send my cards completed as finished cards for you to be able to add to your collection or get sent out to those that you care about. Anyway, thank you everyone, and I do enjoy being a grandma. I love that little girl so much. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great evening, and I'll see you back here next week. I'll be featuring some Valentine's Day treat projects, and can't wait to showcase those for you as well. Bye everyone.